everybody, and welcome to the Sprawl, the GM prep of the Sprawl. This is my Let's Chat series. These are in between actual play episodes where I work on the next episode of the Sprawl, and there is so much to work on. Hi, everybody. Hi, Erica. Hi, Cole. Hi, Miles. And anybody else that's lurking, welcome to the Sprawl. So, let's see. Hoping we're not in the actual game yet. If so, we'll have to go back and catch up. Nope, not in the game just yet. Although we did have our very first episode last week, and that was lots of fun. Lots of stuff already went down. Everything's already super high tension, as you can tell by the clocks above. I mean, you know, hey, lurking. Yes, well, you know, I love the lurkers, I love the chatters. All that matters is, you know, we're here and we're all learning how to best run and GM the Sprawl and come up with all kinds of horrible things to ruin their day, the players' days. So, as a reminder, I'm Oz. I am the game master of the Sprawl. We are on every other Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. Every other Saturday from that, I am the pre-show to the Shattered Isles actual play, which will be happening actually tonight. So at 5 p.m., make sure that you tune in to Shattered Isles. They're doing a custom D20 system in a custom homebrew world that they've been developing for like 10 years. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And also it's co-GMs, which is also really interesting to watch. I love that dynamic. It's like husband and wife duo of Cassie and Max, and yeah, they just do it so well. So yeah, definitely stick around after the show. And after that, after the Shattered Isles, Bobby Frankenberger will be on to discuss the fundraiser that we've got going on here on Shadowcasters Network. If you don't know about it, shadowcasters.network/fundraiser. That's where you can see all of the details of all of the cool giveaways that we're doing, as well as milestones and stretch goals of different things that we want to achieve. But we absolutely need $4,000 to keep our operation costs going for the year, and then we get to use all of the money that we make on our shows individually to better the production of those shows, as well as, you know, give back to the people that are on the shows. So yeah, we have a lot of cool giveaways, lots of Shadowrun related giveaways especially, but if you want, you can also check out that game with Shadowcasters Network perk. That's a really cool one, because you get to just pick the game and we'll work on a date and you get to play with whoever on the network you want. It's pretty neat, right? So check that out. Also, so the other thing that Bobby's going to be doing when he talks about the fundraiser later tonight is he's going to be unveiling his buddy cop show. So we had $1,000 at a certain amount of time, so he had that milestone, and he said that he would reveal his he would basically do a world premiere of like this high school college video series called Buddy Cop Show that he did, and we got to see like the first 3 minutes of it a few weeks ago, and now it's going to be world premiered. So if you would like to go and do the watch party of that, that is tonight, 8:30, 9 p.m. I think is when he's going to be doing that. So I'm having my actually this is brandy today. I decided not to go for the whiskey because I'm actually out of whiskey. But anyway, yeah. Also, in slightly other, not related news, which I'm sure is really annoying if you're here to watch, you know, me GM the Sprawl. I do just want to say this because this is very important news in my personal life. We just got a new dog yesterday. It's a puppy, except it's like a 45-pound puppy because he's a white shepherd. He's a white Swiss, and he's so nice. And of course, we're gonna call him Ghost after Game of Thrones, because he's like white and wolfy looking. And you know, anyone that's seen pictures of my husband knows that he's a Jon Snow cosplayer. So this kind of is completing his Jon Snow fantasy. But oh my god, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. I've just been hanging out with him all day, and I'm like, oh, I have to be on, and we have to talk with the Sprawl. So I'm not sad. I'm excited I get to do this, but I just wanted to share. We have Bubby. He's 5 months old. Anyway, all right. So the Sprawl. Okay, I'm going to be doing a little bit of spoilery stuff here in terms of what has already occurred. If you want, you can use this as an opportunity to just kind of get the cliff notes of what happened so that you can just be ready to go for episode 2 when we air in a week. But if not, just like kind of close your ears and I'll be back, and I'll probably be done in like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so here I go. Spoiler alert. So the team is currently being hunted by various different corporations. Ziggurat is trying to get Express. Express is a bot that Geppetto stole from Ziggurat and ended up being a very highly advanced prototype. That prototype is able to basically be a building rigger, like in Shadowrun, where they can control a bunch of different functions, but it can do it all at once, hyper effectively, because it's a bot. And essentially, like, they're sitting on a gold mine, and Ziggurat wants it back. Meanwhile, Safety Net has an all points bulletin out on the team, so they can't go out on the streets because they're trying to get revengeance for them and the PR, for basically the PR nightmare that they have caused the face of Safety Net, who is currently not the face of Safety Net due to these situations. And then in addition to that, we also have Syracuse Industries, and rather specifically one person in Syracuse Industry, Mimi Price, who is the character Whistleblower's boss. Whistleblower is the hacker who works within Syracuse Industries, like his day job is Syracuse employee. And Mimi Price is like, hey, listen, this girl who ends up being Angel, one of our other players, basically shows footage of Angel murdering someone, stealing her cyber eyes, and basically saying like, we need to know where she is because this happened on our watch and we didn't stop it, so we have to answer for this. Find her. You have 72 hours. That's what that countdown clock above is for, the 72 hours to report on Angel's whereabouts clock. Each of those segments is 12 hours, so they've already spent 48 hours last session, and that report was it actually, well, Whistleblower did turn in a report, but it wasn't a good report, so Mimi was like, do better. So like, I didn't stop the clock. Basically, like, until they actually see Angel, that countdown clock is not going to go away. And if Whistleblower wants his job, his cushy position within Syracuse, so he can work from the inside, he's gonna have to deliver a report. Which brings us to our first plot point, which is that the team has basically decided, oh, by the way, they've decided, so, okay, they were hired to do a job, but they're basically like, okay, this job is on hold right now because this is a problem, okay? So, like everything that I've just mentioned. So, essentially, the first part of the plot for next session, and I think I'm just gonna drop them right into it, is, okay, your plan is to, and it's such a cool gambit that I'm like, I just don't want them to second guess themselves and like come up with a better plan because I love this plan, is you want to tip Ziggurat and Syracuse Industries, basically Mimi Price, you want to tip them both off that you're in your current hideout, or that everybody's in the current hideout that they're planning, that they were supposed to plan the mission from. Tip them off, and then have the two teams fight each other while they make the getaway. So part of that plan was Angel should show her face, But Sinon, the team infiltrator disguise master, has decided to basically be a decoy and take Angel's place. So let's see where that goes, because that just sounds like tragedy could ensue. I don't know, but I love the gambit. I think it's really cool. So the first thing that I want to do is I wanted to design that, and then I want to hop over to the mission portion, the actual mission, which a very quick overview of that mission is they need to escort Express, the bot, into the main server room of a Memory Gold mecha factory. Basically, Memory Gold is designing weaponized smart mecha tanks, and the goal is to sabotage the entire facility's production, because the idea is if Express can perfectly manage an entire building of production, it can sabotage perfectly and just cause millions of dollars in damage in under a minute. Better than any human could possibly ever do. But to do that, they have to get him to the server room. And they don't even know where this mecha factory is. The only lead that they have so far is that it's off the coast of the Jamaican Neo Island. So, but before we get into that mission, I want to hop over and start on our opening scene. So let me go ahead and swap over to my mission notes. Okay. So I was doing a little bit of additional work. And so here's what I want to do. I want to have anything that I highlighted in red is like, I need to talk about this. And of course, the first thing that I've highlighted red is, okay, but Mimi's outfit though, she needs a physical description. So yeah, if anybody has any plans for Mimi Price and her physical descriptors and her outfit, because fashion is very important in our Sprawl, let us know, but I'm going to return to that. First step is, Express was also contacted by Geppetto. Geppetto said, hey, listen, we're going to need you for a job. And one of the things with Geppetto having a gang of basically anything as the pusher character, in this case, he has a gang of androids that he has liberated and given new bodies. They have to, in exchange for doing something, give a demand. They demand things. So that's another thing I want to decide. We ended before Express declared what the demand was. So I have from now until the beginning of the session to decide what is Express's demand to Geppetto in exchange for doing the main mission. Now, ideally, I want something that's going to be for the Gunpla as a whole. The Gunpla is the whole android gang. So that we can meet them and get to know them as a collective more. I don't want the demand to be anything sinister. Generally, I want to play Express as a noble, or rather straight shooter kind of AI. And I kind of want to make it like for some reason, my very first thought is like, we want a pool table. But I don't know if that's really like the best demand. I think generally the benefit of having a whole bunch of androids to do stuff for you is that you don't have to pay cred to do it, especially because they're loyal. That's one of their tags. They're loyal and they're specialists. And they specialize in scavenging and activism. So essentially, like, my first thought is maybe like either they want a pool table, which I don't think is a good first thought, because a pool table would cost cred, wouldn't it? Or I guess a favor. Or maybe they want to achieve something like, hey, listen, that's great. Like, we'll help you do this mission if you help us do a thing in return. Some kind of activism, maybe like, oh, that's cool. Hold on. If they're really cool at activism, maybe we could do something like they want to graffiti the place, the factory that they're going to sabotage, with like pro robot rights messages. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so Express's demand to Geppetto. I love how I just basically came up with that without like anyone. Your first thought was Gundam plastic models? That's kind of cute, though. That's super cute. They want to play with little minis of themselves. Oh, that's really cute. All right, hold on. Let's see this, though. Okay, so they're going to want to graffiti the factory with pro rights messaging. Pro rights, anti-corp messaging is going to be their demand. So now we get to do see, and I like this because it's a fun like side mission within the actual mission. So like while they're, you know, going through the place, they have to like vandalize and graffiti the place. I think that's super cool. That is super cool. And it pushes the activist slash the pusher's role in terms of like getting that message out there. So definitely I am excited about this. Excuse me. So next step is so the current mission, and by which we mean the kind of like personal mission. The crew's goal is to get Ziggurat and Syracuse forces in the same space as Angel's decoy Sinon and get them to take each other out. So before the show, I decided, let me just put it to thought to paper and figure out what are the goals of Ziggurat and Mimi Price. So Ziggurat's goal is they want to capture the crew alive to be able to interrogate them in order to locate Express, because their priority is Express. Now that said, do they care if they kill one or two of them? Probably not. As long as they get to take one person, that's enough for them. So let me put capture the crew alive, at least one to interrogate. If they win, so let's say that everything goes horribly wrong for the team. It does not go the way that they planned. And Ziggurat, what would Ziggurat do if they were able to capture the crew, or at least one of those crew people alive? And so I figured they would take them to a facility to interrogate. If there's multiples, I want to put them in like a prisoner's dilemma style thing where they're put in separate rooms and they're all offered a choice simultaneously, that the first to tell them where Express is gets to go free. Now that said, then I thought, what about Mimi Price? What would Mimi Price do if Angel was caught? So if Angel's caught, and if she's told that Ziggurat, if she basically gets that intel that Ziggurat has Angel, and most likely she's going to get that intel from Whistleblower, Mimi Price is probably going to approach Ziggurat and negotiate for Angel's transfer into her custody. So she's not going to go in by force. I thought about this. I'm like, she's going to go in there and you know, shoot it up. But I was like, no, that would just start a needless corporate war to basically acquire what is ultimately a vanity project. Because one of Mimi Price's reasons for specifically wanting Angel, she doesn't even care about avenging the employee's death or anything, or answering to the, I mean, she needs to answer to the corp, but really her main motivation is she wants Angel's body to replace her own body with, because she's getting crow's feet, and that's just so inconvenient. And so it's like, ultimately, like, yeah, she wants Angel's body, but there are other bodies out there if push really comes to shove and she's unable to acquire this body. And I thought of a neat idea where she would be using money that isn't even hers. And I'm going to set up like a interesting prologue video, which you might have gotten not a prologue video, but a prologue scene, which you might have gotten a glimpse at earlier, where she doesn't want to foot the bill either. So she's going to use the money of the employee's family who is demanding justice. It's going to be really fucked up. I'm very excited to do that scene. And of course, that's assuming, I think I might do that as a flashback more so that I don't lose a lot of time. But anyway, let me see. Cole says, going by force would also let Syracuse know about Mimi's side project, which might make the Corp question her use of resources and capabilities. Exactly. Yes. Precisely. Like, there's zero reason for her to go in guns blazing. The best that she can do is negotiate for the transfer. And, you know, barring that, then too bad, so sad. And then they have Mimi Price off their back. So I haven't thought about what Ziggurat would do if they lose. So if they are not able to capture the crew alive, I guess really at that point, I would probably reset the threat clock. So there's a Ziggurat threat clock. So like how close they're getting. So I'm gonna probably reset the clock because they've lost them. And I would probably, depending on the depending on the style of things that occurred, I might also lower the Ziggurat clock. Lower or raise the Ziggurat corporate clock. So I'll have to make that decision. That'll be interesting. Okay. Then Mimi Price's goal. If she was to capture Angel alive and unharmed in order to use her as her next self, well, great. Angel's taken to a facility to be reprogrammed. Sucks for her. Ziggurat obviously wouldn't care because they have other crew to hunt down and interrogate. So the rest of the session after that is probably going to be like, oh shit, we need to go and save Angel or otherwise we're fucked. And then in which case we get to do side mission, go to the Syracuse facility to save Angel, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. I mean, end of the day, like this is, as a Powered by the Apocalypse game, you play to find out what happens, right? And so this job, it might take them a few more sessions to even get to if things really go badly for them. I don't anticipate that things will go badly, but you never know. So anyway, so that happens. And then if Mimi loses, then we restart Whistleblower's clock and basically says, try again, capturing her is imperative. So, yeah, this isn't going to stop until Mimi Price gets her hands on her or is somehow permanently evaded. So, my next thing is I want to focus on what the Ziggurat forces and the Syracuse forces are going to look like. So I set up a little table here. I put, okay, so Ziggurat's mission is to capture the crew. Syracuse's mission is to capture a specific deadly target, Angel. Okay. And the reason I made that distinction is to be clear in terms of like what kind of equipment they would bring to do something like this. Capture at least one crew. So Ziggurat forces, we've already determined a few things. They've been seen as people in lined suits in an armored black van. So this is canon. Okay. I haven't decided on what their weaponry would be. Syracuse forces have not been determined at all, but I figured if Ziggurat forces are going to be in a van, I think it would be really fun to have Syracuse forces in a helicopter. And so that way you have ground and air. And one of the other reasons I would want a helicopter is because Mimi Price wants it to be go time as soon as possible, and Angel could really be anywhere. Last that they checked, it was on like this oil rig off the mainland of the Miami Arc Sprawl, or specifically of the Miami City island, and it really wouldn't make too much sense to go in a van when the team would probably be flying around in a helicopter to be able to do fast response, especially since Mimi Price now knows that somebody is after Angel. She wants to beat them to the punch. So for sure, armored helicopter is incoming. So I want to kind of determine what their forces would be like and what their weaponry would be like. So if any ideas are in chat, or if anyone in chat has ideas, let me know. So to set up the battlefield, I thought about this a little more. The current location, so what they've established is they got an empty apartment in Little Havana, but essentially I thought more about what the entire building would look like, since the plan was to tip them off that this is the location. So I said, let's make this a solad. So a solad in here, this is kind of like a traditional building in Cuba, I think. I don't know, but it's been brought over here in Miami, and like we see it. So essentially, their apartment buildings, they're maybe like 4 stories, 5 stories at most, right? But obviously, making it cyberpunk, we're gonna make it 35 stories, and they're apartment buildings, but the balconies face interior. So there's like a central courtyard, and then all of the balconies or like windows and stuff face into this courtyard. And so like your apartment is, you enter from the outside of that building, and then the interior courtyard is basically the back of each apartment, and they all face each other. And so they've got clotheslines crisscrossing, they have people shouting conversations at each other, you know, across the courtyard, because of course, you know, why go down and meet anybody when you could just be like, oye, get us un café. So they got that. Then so then there's like a little central courtyard in the bottom, an empty fountain, you know, dried leaves, some benches, some shopping carts, and a plastic folding domino table, just to bring back the domino, because apparently everybody was really fascinated about the dominoes. And then I'm gonna have the audience, I'm gonna have chat like just roleplay the tenants in that space. So if you're watching this, come prepared with a tenant of this building. I'm really excited to do it. And what's really cool about having the inner court, like that courtyard, it's kind of like a U-shaped building too, right? Is that you can have helicopter come in and ground forces, and you can see top and bottom from the, so it's going to be, I think it's going to come off, it's going to be a very interesting dynamic, really cool setting. So Cole says, I think Ziggurat would probably have a mix of lethal and non-lethal weaponry. Fair. Because if they find Express, no need for survivors, but they also want to be able to interrogate someone to find Ziggurat. Syracuse I see as being heavily armored, like in SWAT or riot gear, but using non-lethal weaponry because they think Angel is alone, and they definitely just want to capture her. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so we got a mixture of lethal weaponry and non-lethal weaponry. And essentially, the non-lethal weaponry is going to be their first choice because they want to be able to capture as many as they can, have as many people as they can to interrogate. But, you know, if someone's being problematic, they'll just murk them. Syracuse is, all the weaponry is non-lethal. And we're saying, but yes, I agree that they would be heavily armored to be able to deal with Angel. So like SWAT or riot gear. Okay. Out of curiosity, armor in this game. Actually, I think I have this on my Roll20. Let's see here. I set up a lot of stuff here. Weapons and armor. Okay. Armor. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the clocks real quick. Rather, it's only a Roll20 screen, so that way you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. So let's see. Armor is, if they're wearing a military hard suit, for sure, they have 3 armor, but they're clumsy. Okay, that's cool. I like that. So let me put a little bullet point there. 3 armor plus clumsy. Then let's see. Oh, cool. Ammo. Let's see. So air burst, explosive. They probably would use. Let's see. They're easily stopped. Flechette rounds are easily stopped by armor. Weapons loaded with them add +1 harm, but armor value is doubled. Okay. I don't know if they would use that. Gel rounds, however, they're designed to be less lethal. A weapon loaded with gel rounds inflicts stun harm instead of its listed harm value. Targets harmed by gel rounds add the original harm value minus armor to their roll when making the harm move. Okay, cool. I'm going to copy that so that I remember. Alright, so non-lethal weaponry. They would definitely use some gel rounds. That a better font color. That's not the font color. Not that any of you can see this right now, but whatevs. I just want to make sure that it looks good for me. There we go. Yeah. For sure they would both be using gel rounds. Like, this isn't even a question. Then in terms of lethal, I don't know if they would do armor penetration rounds. I don't want to be a dick yet. Yeah, I said that. I don't want to be a dick yet. I do want to like give them especially because like this is going to be their very first firefight, so I think just regular rounds is fine. And probably Ziggurat and Syracuse think the same thing. But in terms of weaponry, I could see some flashbangs and gas grenades being used. Yes, flashbangs and gas grenades. And then, let's see. And then as far as like a lethal, oh, well, I guess I have to decide what, they add the original harm value minus armor to their roll. Right, so we have to decide what they would use, what kind of guns. Chances are they would probably use like semi-auto pistols, or heavy pistols rather. I'm between like semi-auto pistol, heavy pistol, and maybe like assault rifle. I should really find out what these tags do. There's a difference. I'm sure there's a difference between auto fire and blah blah blah. Let me see. Tags. Let's see. So this is very important, guys. I want to make sure that I'm like doing things by the book, you know, unlike what I normally do. If it's auto fire, the user can opt to temporarily give the weapon plus area, which harms everyone in the area of effect, and plus reload, which is after firing, they have to spend a brief time reloading. Okay, so they get like a one shot to like. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Assault rifles are. Oh, yeah. SMGs. That's there too. Okay. I don't really. No, there's no difference between machine pistols and SMGs. So. I'm thinking just unload the magazine, right? Yeah. I don't want to be too hard on them for this first fight, so I'm gonna probably go with the semi-machine guns. I love how I said that. I don't want to be too I don't want to be too hard on them. All right, so SMGs plus I guess Syracuse though is being led specifically by like security team. I wonder like if they would assault rifle their way in. I think if anything they might like heavy pistol. Specifically Syracuse might use a heavy pistol because that doesn't auto fire and they're only going after one person. So they're going to use heavy pistols, but with gel rounds. Okay. Then, yeah, so then Ziggurat's the ones that's coming in with like SMGs, and I say since, if there's a helicopter involved, there should absolutely be a sniper rifle involved. So there has to be a sniper on that helicopter. I mean, come on. Except it also uses gel rounds. I don't know, and because they're going after one person specifically, I don't think they would do flashbangs or flashbangs or gas grenades. I think that's going to be specifically Ziggurat's deal. Okay. All right, so for lethal, they're using Ziggurat. Lethal, they're using SMGs with regular bullets. Non-lethal, I guess they wouldn't use gel rounds at all then. They would probably go in like flashbangs, gas grenades. Well, I guess they could change between lethal and non-lethal. I don't think that they would take more than one weapon. So they would like swap to gel rounds or to lethal rounds depending on like how bad the situation is. So, okay, cool. So now that I've done that, let me go ahead and swap back to our mission notes here so y'all can see what I've done so far. Let me get these, let me get the notes. I always miss the color. Oh, pink. Okay. I just want to make sure everything's formatted correctly, okay? I'm very, very anal. Okay. SMG, regular bullets. Pistols are good for C. Okay, hold on. SMGs are CQB. CQB. What is that? Close quarter bang. CQB. That close quarter banging. Let's see. You're trading that precision for volume of fire. So which one might be dependent on how high a threat Syracuse thinks Angel is. Syracuse would definitely think she is a threat. Can always use non-lethal shotguns. Well, okay, so she is Syracuse would know that she's a cybered combatant, so maybe a heavy pistol isn't the best way to go, right? So let's do that. Let's do this. The heavy pistol is going to be Ziggurat's lethal weaponry. Okay. Syracuse is going to use shotgun. The thing about shotguns is that they have to be close near, which I guess is okay. Near is within a couple of dozen meters, so that's okay. We'll be fine. Where are my notes? Here we go. Okay, so a shotgun is 3 harm, close, near, messy, reload. I have to make a little cheat sheet like nearby of like what are the things I need to know about all of these different bits. I just don't want like, okay, whatever. All right, I dig this, right? So Ziggurat is coming in with flashbangs and gas grenades and SMGs because they just want to do a bunch of area damage as best as possible. The SMGs have gel rounds. If they need lethal, they'll just use a heavy pistol with regular bullets. So what does the B stand for in CQB though? That's where I'm like close quarters banging, right? Sounds like my Friday nights. Okay, so then Syracuse, heavily armored. They have non-lethal shotgun with gel rounds. And they also have, but they also have a sniper rifle with gel rounds to be able to take down, this is on helicopter, sniper rifle. So that's a more targeted, attack force, whereas Ziggurat is just trying to, wreak havoc on area of effect kind of things, and if they absolutely have to, they will kill you. Seems like something they do. I think I have different colors going on, and I'm not sure because I'm colorblind. We're in light orange. Help. I don't know my colors. These all look the same to me, but I can tell that they're not just by shades, but like not specifically. See, like this is too dark in comparison to this, but then the other one was too light. So what the fuck color is this? Is it this? That's too light. I'm verklempt. Oh, do I have a custom color? Oh, it's a custom color. Hey, okay, cool. So the B stands for battle. Okay, I like close quarters banging though. But yeah, this is going to be a tight skirmish, raiding a building, but then also, all of that stuff on the, potentially on the outside. Now, mind you, this is what the forces would come in expecting, but Geppetto is not going to be there. He's going to be as far away as possible. Whistleblower's not even anywhere near there because he's in the Syracuse building. Sinon is going to be the decoy. I don't know what Angel's planning on doing. She doesn't want to be anywhere near the situation, but if it means kind of having an eye out for Sinon in case he needs backup, she might be there. So at the very least, the scene might end up being more about Sinon escaping and eluding these forces rather than and forcing them to go at each other rather than anything else. All right, so with that, we've already spent quite a while on this detail, but this is good because this helps me make sure I know I've got these people ready to go. So now the next part is the actual mission. Essentially, I would want details about the Sinon cosplays John Wick. Shut up. John Wick was a huge inspiration. And by the way, Parabellum. John Wick 3. Watch it. Okay. The actual mission. So they need the coordinates of the Memory Gold Mecha Factory, which are incoming right now from Geppetto's contact, Sarah King. All they know right now is that they're off the coast of the Jamaican Neo Island. So right now, the only thing that I need to do is decide where exactly off the coast. There were 3 options I could think of. One was on its own, like, unmapped island, so surface, with maybe some basement levels. An aquacology, like secret factory underwater, or a floating island, because apparently we also have floating islands. We have islands above, below, and on the surface itself. So, you know, I'm trying to see, like, what would be pretty neat to do. Obviously, like, basic island is basic. You know, if we're gonna do it, we might as well do, like, either underwater or floating island so that we can maybe, like, paraglide off of it. But I wonder, like, you know, should I just stick to the basic unmarked island to, you know, not, like, basically it's the first mission, it's the first level, so to speak, in a video game. Do I want to, there's complications to, you know, having to get on an island above, like, floating island versus, and as well as one that's underwater. But maybe that's their problem to deal with and figure out, right? I mean, sorry, not sorry. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think in chat? Specifically Cole. I think Cole is, or lurkers as well. You know, hey, I just want like a vote so I could be like, okay, I'll go with that. But like right now, I like all 3 options. Once I figure out where that factory is going to be positioned, and I'm also thinking, like, realistically, where would this factory be, right? Where would you put a bunch of mechas? It stands to reason if you have a bunch of mechas, you might not want to have them underwater, but you can fly them out in a blimp. So I'm starting to feel more about, like, I'm starting to feel the floating island a little more. But anyway, so that. Then I also have to figure out, once we know where the facility is, where is the main server room? And then after that, I want to figure out, like, what kind of security forces Memory Gold has for this factory. So, I could start kind of working on the facility. I don't know if it would necessarily matter specifically where off the coast, like if it's above or below or whatever, but the main server room has to be, where's the main server room? We want somewhere that is highly protected and hard to get to. Which would mean, let's see. Okay, wait, Cole. I would definitely love to see underwater just because it would be strategic because satellites couldn't see an underwater facility, but an unmarked island with a factory would be easiest to reach. Yeah. Floating island would be the hardest because the security might be more paranoid. But that would also fit for it being a prototype facility for a flagship product. See, you're like reading my mind. I'm like, all 3 of these work, but given that these are all a bunch of prototype mechas, it does cross off the unmarked island because it's the easiest to reach. And they wouldn't want it to be easy to reach. So already we're going to cross that off. I say we... Ooh, okay, hold on. Hold on, because we also should detail these mechas, right? These mechas have vector thrust propulsion. They fly. Okay, we're doing a floating island. It's gonna be good. Okay. All right, so it's a floating island off the coast. Okay, so if it's a floating island, the server room would probably be like in the center. It would be in the center of this building. It would be in they're the Terminator drones. Yeah. They fly. Oh, also, we should decide what weapons they have, right? Obviously, so if they're meant to, so the reason that we're even sabotaging this place in the first place is spoilers, or rather, I guess we sort of discussed this in the first one, the first GM prep, was Rod is working for Safety Net's police research division. So they feel that if these mechas get put on the market, it would really hinder Safety Net's share and effectiveness, because obviously smart mechas are going to be more effective, especially if they fucking fly. So we obviously need them to have like grenade tubes. Or assault cannons, missile launchers. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. Assault cannons. Let's go assault. Let me not. Oh, but missile launchers though. No, assault cannon. Assault cannon is fine. Let me. My bloodthirst is showing. Okay. So so they have an assault cannon. Oh yeah, highlighted it. Oops. That bit. Okay. And as their standard weapon, well, they would have multiple weapons, right? So they obviously are using an assault rifle. Or large machine gun. I like large machine gun. Yeah. Okay, so they're also using large machine guns. So in order of priority, right? Like assault cannon is when they need to breach. When they need to breach a wall. So for example, breach means that it can break through walls. Oh, LMG has auto fire, so they can do area. Oh yeah, I like this. And I think they're also going to need something that stuns. So I guess they would probably have like some kind of. They wouldn't have a hand taser, because that's, you know, if they're like these big mechas, they're not going to be like. Missile launchers would be good for the criminals are in armored vehicles. Yeah, the thing about missile launchers is that they have to be used at a far range. Assault cannons are near far, and really the only difference between the difference between assault cannon and missile launchers is assault cannon has 4 harm, missile launcher is 5. So missile launcher is deadlier, but it has to be done at a far range, so within a block, whereas assault cannons can be done within a couple of dozen meters to within a block. Aside from that, they have area, messy, breach, and clumsy already as tags, so there's a little more versatility in the assault cannon. A pistol with gel rounds for stun, and a sniper for long-range elimination. To be fair, they don't need to be long-range. I mean, they fly, and they're huge. So they'll just, you know, like, at you, and then pop you in the face. Yeah. hey, it's 4:55. Shattered Isles is probably like, hey, we're supposed to go live like now. All right. Well, fine then. I sort of have a general idea then about what these mechas deal, like at least sort of have an idea that the mechas movement and weaponry. I know that the server room is somewhere in the middle of the building and it's highly protected and hard to get to, and it's on a floating island. So now I can sort of start building off of that a little more. Yeah. All right, well then, that's going to be it for my series today, because I have to yield the stream to Shattered Isles. So thank you everybody for coming, and we will see you next week, next Saturday, where we are going to be playing the Sprawl, 1 p.m. Eastern. And also, you're going to want to stick around to watch Shattered Isles right now. So it's our custom D20 actual play in a custom setting, which actually, funny enough, involves a bunch of floating planet things. Yeah. Oh, they already swapped my thing. They swapped my overlay. Damn you. Okay. Anyway, they obviously wanted me off. They want me off. They're like, Oz, stop, go away. What else was I going to say though? And then stick around for the fundraiser talk. And also, if you're interested in the fundraiser, ShadowcastersNetwork/fundraiser, check all that out. Did I mention that I'm going to be, the milestone right now is if we get 1,500 within, which I think we're at like maybe $100 away or so. If we get that by Sunday, I have to do a live choreographed dance on the streamathon that we're going to be having, the 36-hour streamathon. Did I mention that? No? All right, well, now you know. So help us make that happen. I'm a really good dancer. Okay, I gotta go. Have a good one. I'll see you next week, and wish these poor fucks luck. Bye!